Welcome back. If you aren't already following Naked, please take a minute to do so you don't miss out on any future episodes. Each follow means so much and it actually helps a lot. If you have more than just a minute, it would be absolutely incredible if you could leave a review and maybe even share an episode with a friend. I am relatively new to the pod world, especially new to the things that are important in the podcasting world. And apparently reviews and follows are up there on the list of importance. So I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Welcome to Naked, where stories unfold. I'm your host, Janelle, a once former pastor's wife who exchanged small town living for a nomadic life. The unexpected change in our life led my husband and our 4 kids to traveling the world. From years of being rooted in our small town to the thrill of wandering the world, our story has been anything but ordinary. On our journeys, we've met amazing people, learnt their way of life, and heard their unique stories, which has led me to understand the profound impact of shared experiences. In each episode, we explore moments of transformation, guided by one single question: is there a time in your life when everything changed? We invite ordinary storytellers like yourself to share the often unexpected turns in life. So grab a seat and settle in. This is the Naked Podcast. So traveling has brought us to all different corners of the world, but last October we were living in Glasgow, Scotland. And it's such a beautiful city. And we had been in Edinburgh 7 years prior and just wanted to experience another city in Scotland. And it was just as magical in a different kind of way. But one of the things that are difficult about traveling is the community or the lack thereof sometimes. So we usually try to get involved by volunteering. But as the kids are getting older, they really want to meet people that are in similar ages of them. So Keelah, prior to us landing in Scotland, she had herself all enrolled in an organization called GA, where they offer acting, dance, and singing. So it's an amazing art community. And so the day we got there, she was headed off to her class and met a bunch of amazing people. And one of the great friendships that developed from that space was her friendship with Harry. And we talk about this all the time, but when we travel to places, it's, yes, the cultures are amazing, and yes, the food, and there's all kinds of things that are beautiful about spaces, but really what's the best part is the people that inhabit those spaces, that welcome you into their lives. And Harry really became a part of our family and welcomed Kiki into the community there. And we talked a little bit about one day doing a podcast, and now finally we were able to do that. And today we did that. He shared part of his story that I knew nothing about, and he was very honest and transparent, and just a beautiful chat with my friend Harry. I hope that you enjoy this conversation and that you have a beautiful day. Well, welcome here. Oh my goodness, I am so excited that you're here. Thank you for joining me. I absolutely love your background.
Thank you so much. My bedroom is beautiful.
It is.
It's always beautiful. Posters, musical posters, things.
I love it. Love it. It's very entertaining. Those of you who can't see, I'm hanging out with my friend Harry, and his background is very cool. He's got like posters and beautiful like pictures in the background. It's just like everything that you probably love, which is very cool.
Yeah,
Thank you for
there's
being
a K-pop
here.
poster.
Thank you for joining me
Thank you for
today.
having me.
Of
I'm very
course.
excited.
Ooh, I'm so excited. I'm so glad this actually worked.
I know.
Yes, it's been a while. We've talked about this for a long time, and thought we could actually carve out some space to be here together.
It has been a long time in the making.
It has been.
Months.
Maybe
So many
even,
times just like, "Ooh."
yeah, maybe even like maybe almost a year. It's crazy. We've talked about this a lot. So
Oh
thank
yeah. When was it? Yeah, when did
yeah.
we first meet?
I believe it was, well, it would have been last October.
Oh, so it would have been a year then.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So
oh wow.
we're going way back.
We're going way, way back.
Oh, I'm so glad you're here. Well, my guest today is Harry. He's from Scotland, so enjoy the accent. I could literally just have him read me stories all day long and just listen to his accent because I just love the Scottish accent. So
I don't
thank
even have that much of an accent.
you do, and it's lovely.
I have an English accent more than a Scottish accent, which I don't
Really?
know why.
I don't know. I love
Yeah.
it. It's like a beautiful,
Okay, well that's fine.
beautiful blend of Harry goodness. I love it. It's the best.
Oh, good,
Um,
good, good.
thank you, yeah, for hanging out. Maybe you can tell our guests a little bit about who you are, where you're from. I kind of told a little bit about that already, but like where life's taking you currently in the season.
Um, I'm Harry, as you said. I am from the west coast of Scotland, and I'm just chilling right now. And in exactly 26 days, I will be off to Japan for a year.
Amazing.
That's pretty much me.
You're amazing, and you're going to study there.
I am going to studying Japanese in Tokyo.
That's amazing. I'll never forget when you came over and you're like, I'm making you a meal. And what did you make us?
Oh,
It took a
oh,
long time, but it was
um,
delicious.
oh, it took a while. We made two different types of dumplings. One of them was, oh, I can't even remember. One of them was pork, and the other one was something else, but we made the dough, and then we made
Hmm.
the filling, then we had to fry them, steam them. Oh, it was a lot of work. There was a lot of mess. There was a lot of stress, but they were quite tasty.
They were very good. It was my first time I think I've had anything quite like that. I was like, this is so, so, so good. You had your whole like recipe book there and you're like, I am making you a meal. It was so good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I think that was my first time making dumplings from scratch, actually.
Well,
I'd made gyoza before, but that was the first time making dumplings.
you totally knocked it out of the park. You did so good. We were all like, this is so delicious. I think we were eating it like, I don't remember. It was pretty late, but it was so worth
It
the
was
wait.
like 10 o'clock, I think,
I think it was.
because
Maybe.
it took so much longer.
But it was worth the wait. Well worth the wait. It was so, so good. Um,
And
I
then,
gotta, sorry, go ahead.
oh no, no, sorry, I was just after we ate, then I had to run for the last train because it was like midnight.
Oh, yeah, you did. And then your
Stressful.
parents were like, Harry, for the love of God, why did you come home so late?
I was like, it's fine, it's 1 a.m. Get over,
You're like, I'm
get
just
over
making
it.
these Canadians some great dumplings.
Yes, exactly. Just let me live.
So, oh my goodness. So, how old are you, Harry? I don't even really actually know.
I am, how old? I'm 17.
You're 17.
I'll be
Amazing.
17, I'll be 18 in May.
Wow. And you're going on this amazing
Mhm.
adventure. Have you always wanted to go to Japan?
I've only actually, it's only been about a year because in August, me and my family all went to Japan for the first time. And
Okay.
uh, we were just talking to people, and eventually someone said, "Oh, you should come study here." And my dad was like, "Haha, yeah, because then I could come visit you." So it started off as kind of a joke. And then the more the week went on, more people told me, and I was like, wait, this could actually be not a joke. And then it expanded from there, and now a year later, I'm off,
Wow.
which is terrifying, but also very exciting.
Yeah. Hey, all of the feelings at once, I bet. And is your dad going to come
All
visit
of the
you?
feelings. Sadly, yes, apparently, for my 18th birthday. So annoying.
I guess
But
that's
yeah, there'll
why
be
he's like, yeah, you go so I can come visit you.
that was literally one of his only reasons. Like then he has an excuse to get off work and come visit me. Like, okay,
He has to.
thanks for
He's like, it's my
yeah.
son's birthday and I have to go. I'm sorry.
Well, they weren't meant to come for my birthday. They actually had another holiday, which they booked over my birthday before they knew I was going away. So rude. But then they cancelled that and they're actually coming for my birthday. So I
Oh,
guess that's nice.
I guess that's nice. Well, by the time they get
Yeah,
there, you'll have been there for a while, so you can like show them
yeah,
around, and yeah, you'll have made some
it'll
kind
be
of
exciting.
yeah, totally. There's something about that distance when you haven't seen your family for a while and then you see them. It's like, oh, it's a sense of home. It's kind of comforting.
Mm. No, I've never actually really been away.
This is
The
the
longest
first.
I've been away, well, for like was only 2 weeks.
Wow, wow, this is a
So
big jump.
big jump. I've never even moved house before, so this is going to be a whole new thing.
Wow, that's exciting. Oh my gosh, I'm so
It's
excited for
very
you.
exciting.
I've always wanted to go to
Thank you.
Japan. Maybe we'll come visit you.
Yeah, you need to come visit,
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Then you can show us around.
and then I'll show you around. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That'd be great.
I'll be there for a year. Just hit me up.
Just put it out there. All right, I'll see what I can do.
Just put it out there. Thank you very much.
I gotta ask you, what are you drinking today?
We have. Let me just pick it up because it's actually on my desk. We have a delicious in theme. We have Japanese hojicha, which is roasted green tea.
What?
Fancy,
Very
yeah.
in, very in theme, very fancy. Are you
Very
making
in
this?
theme. I love
Is it,
tea.
how do you go about making this beautiful green tea? Is it there's just a sort
Well,
of
no, no, you can just buy tea bags of it. Just buy tea bags.
Okay, I thought maybe like, and I had to do this, and then I had to grind this up, and then I put it in here, and then I had to steam it, and then
I'm afraid not.
no.
I had to open a tea bag and I had to put it in boiling water and then take it out. So that was a lot of effort, but eventually we did get here. We did get to the Japanese tea.
Perfect. Well,
Very
cheers.
nice. Cheers. What do you have?
I am drinking a sweet cinnamon tea. It's like very cold here. We
Oh,
have a lot of snow, and it kind of
yes.
feels like a bit like Christmas in a cup. It feels really comforting. It's made actually,
Oh,
you can know people that aren't listening can't see this, but the cup that I'm using today, Harry, you can see my grandma hand painted this cup, and I just found it in my box yesterday of like her farmyard when she was a child. It's like her little farm and the tree that was
oh,
there. Yeah, and I was
it's
like,
so pretty.
I have to use this today because I just found it. So
That
it's
is
like I knew I had it, I
that
just
is
didn't know
amazing.
where it was. So yeah, so my
That
sweet
is so
tea.
pretty.
Isn't it cute?
Mine's is mine's is a chipped cup.
Oh,
So, you
well,
know, great.
I like it still.
I think your tea is a bit fancier than mine, which is quite annoying. So annoying. I thought I was going to be really ahead and be like, yeah, I've got Bojicha.
Well, I don't even know how to
But no,
say
okay.
the tea that you have, so I feel like you get extra points just for that.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great,
And
great, great. Well, I can barely say cinnamon.
you sorry, what did
So,
you can barely say cinnamon? Oh well.
mm,
Hey, we're even then. It's fine.
yes, you can worry
It's
about
fine.
it.
It's fine. So, yeah, every time I jump onto this chat with people, I always think, hey, thank you so much for being here, but also thanks for being willing to share your story because it's
Of
really
course.
can feel really hard to be able to be like, what is this even like? What am I supposed to where is this going to take me? And it can feel a little off
Yeah.
putting sometimes. Um,
Mm,
but I am so grateful when people say yes because it just for me it feels like one of our listeners maybe feels a little bit less alone in their own story. And um, I heard this quote by Brene Brown. Do you know Brene Brown?
I do not.
She's you're gonna have to look her up now. She's a
I
shame researcher, and she talks about so many things. And one of the things she talks about is about being vulnerable. And I'm not probably going to butcher the quote a little bit, but she talks about how vulnerability is the greatest step towards courage, and just being able to just be real with your story, be real with your life. It's not weakness. It's like it's a giant leap towards courage. So thank you for being courageous today and for joining me on Naked and joining the community. You're one of my younger. I think you are the youngest one on Naked. Yeah, you're the one youngest, my
I
youngest
I feel
guest.
so honored.
Yeah, you should. I feel
I
honored
feel
that you're
so
here.
honored.
No, I'm
Wow,
so honored to have you here, and so glad we got so many times together and hang out. I only wish there was more that we could have
100%. They were
had.
some of the funnest times of my life.
Yeah. Oh, you're one of the biggest highlights, I think, of our time in Glasgow. Just like
Mm,
we always talk about this when you travel. You like meet people that just feel like you can just take them on, like you're just one of the kids, one of the family members. And it's such a huge I don't know. It's when you reflect back on, and you'll probably find this with traveling to Japan. When you reflect
yeah.
back about going there, it's yes, the place is amazing and Scotland is amazing, but it's the people you meet along the way that make it so rich and so special. And I think that you
Mm,
definitely are that for us, like for me, for Ellie, for Kilea, like all of us just like adore you, and you just became like one of the highlights when we think back about Glasgow. It's like, oh, but Harry was so great and he's so awesome. And we just love
I
him.
thank you so much. I just the first time when I met, like when Kiki took me around to your house, and the first time I met you all, I was like, why are they so nice? You're just some of the sweetest people I've actually ever met in my
Mm.
entire life.
Aw.
And Kiki and
Well,
Ellie are just great to hang out with.
yeah. Well, we feel the same way about you. Totally adore you. So yeah, leaving the countries are hard, but the people, that's the hardest to say goodbye to. But also just knowing that
Yeah.
it's not forever. It's just like, see you later. We'll see you next time. Maybe we'll see
See
you in
you,
Japan.
I'll see you in Japan.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I'm really, really grateful all the times we got to hang out. And thankful for that you're here today,
Me too.
sharing, drinking your lovely tea and hanging out with me.
Drinking my lovely tea.
Your lovely tea, which is
Oh
very
no, thank
Scottish
you.
of you as well.
Yeah, not Scottish tea, but yeah, I guess that is quite British,
Yeah, it
Stay
is.
keeping theme.
See, keep the theme going.
See,
When we
that's
actually
keep the
go ahead.
theme. Oh,
What were you
sorry,
gonna
I just said keep the theme.
Okay. When we first came to Scotland 7 years ago with the kids, Ellie was so tired from traveling, and we went to the first place we went to was like we just need to get some food. So there was like a sandwich shop, but they were serving tea, and Ellie fell asleep with her arms around the teapot because she was cold, and she was just like we have our very
Oh,
first photo in Scotland is Ellie holding a teapot in her arms while she's sleeping next to it at the table.
oh,
And then we
oh,
realized,
that's so
oh,
cute.
tea is such a thing here. Everybody has tea. It's just part of life. You don't get a cup of tea, you get a pot
Tea.
of tea when you order tea in
Oh,
Scotland,
pot of tea, yeah.
right? It's
Cup of
like,
tea, no, no, no.
no, no, no. Let me bring you the pot.
It is also like, I feel like it is an official law that if you have a builder round to your house, if you don't offer him a cup of tea in about 10 minutes, you could probably be arrested. But builders, it's just, they need tea constantly.
Really?
Yes.
I
I
feel
When they come round, you've just got to give them cups of tea. I knew someone who had like 20 cups of tea in about an hour.
I feel like if you
I think
offered
he was
somebody tea here, they'd be like, I mean, if they're building, yeah, they'd be like, do you have any coffee or maybe like a Coke? Tea is just not a very, it's not something that's like really in our,
no.
people like it, but it's not something you give somebody when they come over. It's like generally a cup of coffee or
I know.
iced
Like
tea or something.
tea with milk and two sugars. That's called a builder's tea.
Really?
That's called a builder's tea. Just like, oh, a builder's tea, please. It will be tea, milk, and 2 sugars.
I
Because
didn't know
that's what
what,
they all have.
really? I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's neat. I don't think I made you tea when you came over. Whoa. I was not,
Well, I'm
I
not a
was,
builder, so
but still,
so that's
like,
fine.
I didn't even,
Tiki made me tea.
okay, okay. I was like, oh man, I'm so uncultured. I should have got with it. But now I know.
That's so rude of you.
It is so rude of me.
Ridiculous.
Well, anyways, I love that we're here today and drinking our tea, just hanging out, you in Scotland, me in Alberta. And I don't know where we're headed today. Like I know little bits of your story, but I don't even know where we're going.
Mm.
Maybe you don't know. Maybe you're just gonna see what pops up in the time. But
I
do you know where we're
yeah.
going? Yeah.
Mm, a bit,
Yeah.
but there'll be things that just like pop up,
Yeah.
and because I'm quite nervous, I seem to be quite talking a lot, so there'll probably be a lot coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
There's probably be a
Everybody
lot.
that sits here, I feel like in this space, there's that nervousness. But like I said to you, we're just hanging out in my living room, your living room, we're just chilling and
With a cup of tea.
just having a cup of tea. Yeah. So I asked you that question so long ago because I think I remember you being at our house and we were chatted about the podcast and yeah, you're like, oh, I would totally join you. I was like, really? Wow. Okay, let's do it. And like a year later, here we are. So when you think about that question,
Mhm.
when was a time in your life when everything changed? Was it something that popped up like initially?
Probably the first thing, which is definitely a major thing in my life, was about nearly 3 years ago now in January when I was, God, this is quite depressing. But it's definitely like the main thing, is the one thing I can remember. I was be putting into hospital for an eating disorder.
Mm, wow,
That is the first thing that popped into my mind when people say, like, what was a turning point?
in your life. Wow, I
Yeah.
didn't know that about your story. So when you think back to that, do you
Did you not?
remember? I did not know that. No, this is
Oh,
new. This is new to me. Um,
okay.
but so many of us are not a stranger to this. I've sat in a similar seat, not where I was hospitalized, but definitely, yeah, definitely understand what you're like parts of that. So when you think
Yeah.
back to that you being hospitalized, do you remember what brought you to that point?
It it really started such a small thing. Like a year before that, and actually the January the year before that, at one point during a week, I had churros. It was churros,
Hmm.
and for some reason I thought these have a lot of sugar in them. Maybe I should cut down on sugar. And then over the next year, that spiraled into basically cut down on everything. And what about just don't eat? Which is depressing way to say it, but yeah, that's what happened, basically.
So it's like your mind just is like triggered, being like, "There's a lot of sugar in this. I need to control it."
Yeah.
Do you feel like there was like a something that happened that triggered that idea, that thought? Was it a conversation or just people in your life, or was it like you wanted to control something in your life and that seemed like the most tangible thing to control?
The control thing that always pops up, when doctors talk about like control and stuff. I've never really been able to like pinpoint something that would make me feel like that. I always had like trouble in school. Like when I first went into school in S1, which is high school in Scotland when you're like 12, 11.
Okay.
I had really bad anxiety because it was a new school, new people, lot of people. Oof, that was terrifying. So I was taken out of school for a while, and then when I went back, that was around the time that it started happening. But yeah, I can never really pinpoint something, but it's probably school. And yeah, something was like, and my brain was like, maybe you should cut down on sugar, even though I wasn't eating that much. It was just that specific week because it was New Year, Christmas, New Year, yada, yada, yada. And then from that, my brain was like, oh, maybe you should cut down on this. Maybe you should stop eating that. And then over the next year, it started as such a small thing. And it ended up basically eating nothing by the end.
Wow. And this is something that you were able to do in like almost in secret for a while, until all of a sudden your family was could see that something was wrong.
Yeah, actually, 100%. My friends at school didn't even know. I don't even think my family really knew. I actually had to tell them that I wanted to go get help. I can remember one thing after a year, I was standing in the corridor with my mum, and I was like, because I was just so tired all the time, cold, just absolutely depressed after a year of just this. And I can remember at one point I'd realized that this isn't right. And I can remember standing in the corridor with my mum and being, I need help for this. And she said to me, no, we'll just do something. We'll just do it at home. And I said, no, I need help. Please find something. So I actually had to say, and like at school, none of my friends were like, oh, but you always ate something at lunch. I always had like soup. But the thing was, every soup I had, I counted like every single bit, whether it was calories or carbohydrates or sugar or fat or whatever. And everything was just the lowest. Like I would limit myself to like 700, 800 calories a day as a teenage boy, which you should be eating about 2,500, 3,000.
Right.
And I was only eating like 700.
Wow.
But no one really noticed because I was eating, but it was the control in what I was eating.
You had it narrowed down to the specifics.
Very specific things. I used to like, at night when I got home from school, I used to look at what I was having the next day, what I was having for breakfast. And then after breakfast, I'd look at what I was having for lunch. And then during school, I'd think what I'm having for dinner, and I'd add it all up throughout the day. So my whole day was just consumed with it about what's next.
Wow. And what was the triggering point for you when you were like, oh no, I need help? Because that's a big, I feel like that's a big step to identify, that like this isn't okay. What was something that triggered that, where you're like, oh no, like I need help in a way that my family can help me?
I don't really know, because for the whole year I was like, no, I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. I can remember being like, oh, I'm just health conscious, which was an absolute lie. Like, no, you weren't. I I can't even think of a time that I was like, oh wait, this is wrong. This is bad. This is not right. There's towards the end, before I actually got hospitalized and got help, there's not a lot of memories I can think of, actually. Probably because I was just so
consumed maybe
ugh.
with it. Yeah.
But I can't think of a moment where I was like, wait, this is bad. I can just remember denying it, and then at one point being like, I need help.
And what was that process like for you when you did reach out and get help? Like, so you told your mom, and where is your mom in that? And then where did that take you from that point?
When I told her, I can remember she looked at a bunch of stuff. And obviously in the UK we have like the NHS, which is the health service stuff. I can remember she looked at private stuff or NHS, and she found an eating disorder clinic nearby on the NHS, like just in the town over.
Okay.
And so she booked an appointment with that, but because stuff was so busy, it was about a month or two before I actually saw them.
Wow.
And when I did see them, it was right before Christmas. So after that, we couldn't do anything because, again, it's Christmas, people are busy.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, it was another month, well, around another month until I could see them again. And during that time, it just went downhill. Because when I first saw them, they wanted thinking of putting me in hospital. But then by the time I saw them again, they were like, wait, this has gone down.
So as soon as you were able to, once you came in that in between period of telling your mom and getting in, you got extremely worse. And what was that season like for you? Those 3 months? It sounds like 2 to 3 months.
Awful. The worst time ever.
Hmm.
Because Christmas, you're eating a lot, and that's still a big fear of, around this time.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be eating a bunch. So on like the run up to Christmas, I had like every day I'd have like a can of soup. Just like a bit of soup, which is like 200 calories again.
Wow.
And that's all I'd have running up to Christmas. And in Christmas, which was very dangerous actually, I decided I'd just eat whatever I wanted because it was a year of eating nothing, and I wanted Christmas to be enjoyable, which was actually very dangerous. That could have been going from nothing to everything.
Yeah.
But then after that again, I just started eating nothing. So for about a month, I basically ate nothing. So it was a probably a very bad time to be like in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you remember what the language was in your mind at that time? The language around.
What do you mean?
Like, I think sometimes when we go through, especially when it's starting to get worse. So things that we say in our heads we don't always say them, but the words in our head still are very much filling all of our body. So I wonder, as you're getting, you're struggling for that year, and then you tell your parents like, I need some help, and then it gets worse. Did the language in your mind about who you were and about what food was and about the circumstances, did it change? Do you remember? Was it like, I can think of my own journeys, like when I was in my 20s, I went through an eating disorder, and I remember the words in my mind almost becoming like, if you can imagine like a hamster wheel where it's slowly, the hamster slowly going, and then it picks up and it starts running, and then it's like those words about who I was and how I saw myself were spinning so much faster, so it controlled my actions even more, to the point where like I was eating a little bit, then less, to the point where that became my new reality, because my mind was spinning with the verbatim of what food was, or how much I would think about food, or how much I would think about consumption, or how I felt around food. It just got out of control. So then it leads to this like, you can't, it's the only thing on your mind, right? You wake up thinking about food.
Yeah.
You're seeing people, but everything you think about is just like, there's food on the brain.
It's food.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just always just food. There was I don't even think it was like a me or the world around me. It was just food. Everything's food. You walk down the street, there's a restaurant, food. You see someone, like, you see people chatting, they're eating food. I didn't realize how much food played a part in, well, of course it plays a part in life. You need it to live. But how much it is everywhere and how much that just gets, like, exacerbated. Oh, I don't think that's the right word. I think I just made exacerbate. Oh,
Exacerbate. Now I'm not sure if I can say it.
you can't say it. It gets big. I don't know. Big.
Yeah.
Bigger. Yeah. Everything is just food, and that's
Yeah.
all I could think about. Going to sleep. What am I having for breakfast? After breakfast, now what's lunch?
Yeah.
After lunch, like during school, it was just what's for dinner. What's for dinner? I could not do anything. I can remember, like, the class after lunch was like music technology, which is like computers about music. I don't really know. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't. That's not really important. But the teacher gave us something to do, and I just sat doing nothing. All I was thinking about was what food. I didn't do any work for like 2 hours. I just sat thinking about food. That was it.
Wow.
There was nothing else.
Wow. It just gets in your head, and that's the only thing in your view is just food.
Yep.
So when you got
Just food.
into finally, when you actually did get the help that you were needing, what was that process like for you? As far as like you've gotten to a really unhealthy state that was slowly trickling to now becoming really unhealthy to like 200 calories a day. Um, what was the next when you were actually were able to see somebody and get the help that you needed?
At first, when I first actually got help, when I went to the hospital in January, and they admitted me, for some reason at that time, I did just start eating again what they gave me. Don't know why that would change later, but at that moment, it went. I just ate whatever they gave me, and I was happy about it. I don't, because I was happy to obviously be eating again. Actually, the day I went into hospital was actually my grand's funeral. So me and my mum, who took me into hospital, we were all like dressed in black. And that's the day I got admitted to hospital. So I never actually got to go to her funeral.
Oh.
I know. But yeah, when I did, they started feeding me there, I did just start eating it. I don't, for some reason at that moment, everything just went away from my brain.
Really?
Yeah, that would change later on as the year would come. Like, that mindset of, oh, the doctors, they know what they're doing, I'll just eat whatever they give me. That would change. But for the moment, the first week, it was bliss. It was bliss. It was back to normal.
Wow. And how long were you in
Well,
the
in the
hospital
hospital.
for?
The first hospital, not the first hospital, but the first time I was in hospital, I was meant to be in for 2 weeks, but I got out after a week. Because again, I was doing so well. They didn't expect me to just eat whatever they gave me, but I did.
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
did manage to get out in about a week.
Wow. And then at that
Mm.
point, did that trickle off as you went home? You started feeling, it sounds like you just really trusted them. It was like, okay, this is what you need to do. And so you just were like, okay. But then you go
I
home.
did.
What happens then?
After I went home, it was okay for a bit, but obviously it wasn't. It was just my parents giving me food, and I didn't have that trust in like these mystical, magical doctors, and these nurses. So at first it was okay, but then again, it slowly started getting worse. Like, why should I listen to what you have to give me? I don't want this. I'm not going to have this. And they gave like a set of guidelines because I was so underweight. You started off with half portions, so half a sandwich, not a full sandwich, half a sandwich, and half a thing of soup. or like for breakfast, half a normal bowl of cereal or something like that. So I'd have like 2 Weetabix in the morning that my mum would give me,
Mm-hmm.
because that was kind of what they advised. And I can remember she tried to bump it up a wee bit, like adding like half, like 2 Weetabix and half.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wouldn't eat that half. I'd eat the two, and I'd see that she put a half in, and I just wouldn't eat it. I would be like, "Nope, you can't try that. I know." So I was still
Mm-hmm.
set on like what I should be eating, what I thought I should be eating. Because even though obviously half a Weetabix,
Yeah.
it's not exactly the most dangerous thing in the world at all. But because I was told to eat these, 2 Weetabix, add another half. No, 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 that's not happening. And from there, I then just decided, you know what, you're not a doctor. I'm not going to eat what you give me. And it went down from there as well.
Okay. And were you at like, so I'm just wondering, so you're in school, you're really struggling. People are maybe
Mm,
not, you're not feeling like you like are connecting with some people. It sounds like you had some friends, but you also felt like you didn't have a community. Is that kind of what
yeah,
that started that? Is that like you felt maybe alone, or there was a sense of isolation in school? Would that be, I just want to understand a little bit more about, because then you go back home, you go to the doctor, they give you some guidance, and that seems to help. And then you go home. Do you like when you were kind of going through the process? Did you see some things that were joined between those experiences, as far as like being home and like school life? I don't know. Even when,
100%.
yeah,
Um, when I did get put into hospital, they did take me out of school. So I
okay,
was out of school for a year. So I wasn't actually going to school at that time.
okay,
But I did have a few friends, as you say, but they weren't really friends. You couldn't talk to them.
mm,
As soon as you got into something serious, no, 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 we're not going to talk about that.
mm,
Um, so they weren't anyone that I could turn to help. And the only other people were, well, my dad, he works most days.
okay,
So he was obviously out, and my brother, he was at school. Not that I talked to my brother anyway, ew. Um, but, so it was just my mum.
mm,
Um, but she was the only person. There was no one I could, I was alone, basically, yeah. I
yeah,
was stuck in the house,
mm,
too tired to go out, just on my own. I do think that had an impact, because after all that I'd done, and I did make new friends later on, um, it did just get, even after I got better, after I did make more friends, it got so much better. So I do
mm-hmm.
think it was because I was alone, there was no one to talk to,
Yeah,
because my friends, not that they're bad people, but, well, my old friends, not that they were bad people, but they just weren't people you could talk to at all about anything.
right. So then you kind of come through the process, and what was like, so to where you were at the hospital and coming home and going through all that stuff, isolation and really going into a dark place. What was
Mm.
the catalyst that kind of helped you come out of it? Like what brought you here? How are you here, and how are we talking? Like, I think sometimes it's hard to pinpoint those
Um,
moments, but
I actually think I can pinpoint that moment, surprisingly. After getting out of the hospital, a few months after that, I actually did get put into a psychiatric ward,
okay.
um, because I thought it couldn't get any worse, but it was awful. But so I
Mm.
did get put into a psychiatric ward, and that did make it better. And when I got out of that, we actually went on holiday for 2 weeks. We always, me and my family, every year we always went to up north in Scotland to a lovely wee village called Glenuig, and we'd stay in this cottage by the beach. And we'd also go to a place down south in Scotland near Edinburgh called North Berwick. And it just so happened that year that those two holidays just seemed to line up. So we'd go from one to the other in 2 weeks.
Nice. Nice.
And I think, be, and when we went on those, being away from the house that I'd been stuck in for 6, 7 months at that point with no one to speak to, and we were out and we were doing things, and it was, I had things to do that weren't about food. I
Right.
had things to distract me. Those 2 weeks were probably 100% a turning point. From
Hmm.
the start of those 2 weeks to the end of the 2 weeks, things were completely different.
Wow.
Completely different. Like beforehand, my mum would need to pour my cereal for me to eat because I didn't trust myself, and then by the end, I could do that all by myself.
Wow.
Um, she'd also have to pick what we were having for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because again, I didn't trust myself. But then by the end, I could do that.
Hmm.
Um, and I can remember every week I'd go to the eating disorder clinic. It was these two nurses, um, that would just see how I was doing. They'd weigh you, do your height, blah 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 blah. And I can remember after those 2 weeks, I wrote a big letter to them saying all the accomplishments I made in those 2 weeks,
Aw.
and it was like 2 whole pages. And it was that was a moment that just made everything turned around. Being away from the house for those 2 weeks,
Hmm.
it just
Wow.
it helped so much
I bet it
instead of
was
being stuck.
instead of being stuck. I bet it was interesting for you to like write that to the nurses and be able to see like marginable change. Like you can actually see like
Mm,
wow, like that so much growth in a 14-day period.
yeah,
Yeah.
I actually think I I can remember after I wrote it, I was like, I want to print this out, and I think I do still have it.
Aw.
It's in my bedroom. It's in my cupboard over there.
Really?
Um, yes, I don't know, I don't know where it is, and I think I've lost one of the pages, which is quite sad. But I have the reply from one of the nurses because it
Wow.
was just a big list of a bunch of small things, but were so big to me,
Hmm.
like having jam for the first time in a year,
Wow.
or having like a curry. Oh, again, another very British thing. Um, Takeout curry, but I like having small things, but it just added up and just made me so happy.
Hmm. Wow.
So I still have the reply from one of the nurses. Her name was Stephanie. She was lovely.
Aw. That's amazing. Somebody celebrating you in those wins as well. I'm sure your mom was
Yeah.
like, "What?" So excited too. From having to pour
Yes.
your cereal to having you do that and those things that you can be independent and you can see your well-being transform and right in front of her eyes.
Yeah. 100%. Just 2 weeks. It was such a big change. She could actually finally get some stuff to herself. She
Yeah,
didn't have to be there to pour the cereal, decide what we're having, cook things.
right.
So
Wow. And how was it once after those 2 weeks? Did you feel like there was a continual change that was like, okay, you're continually going towards a healthier version of yourself?
yeah, that was like the catalyst. After those 2 weeks, it stayed pretty stable. There was no like big wins, but it definitely did not get worse. And then
Hmm.
about a few weeks after that, I went back to school, and I was like, ugh, the school was filled with such bad memories. When I first
Hmm.
joined, I had such bad anxiety. I was taken out, and then when I went back, I developed an eating disorder. So I was like, it's not filled with happy memories.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I decided. I asked my dad, like, can I move school? And he said, yes, that would be a good idea. So
Hmm.
I moved school. Um, and from there, I made new friends. I also joined an acting thing because I went to go see a show, and which is
Okay.
actually how I met you because Kiki
Yeah.
joined that.
Yeah.
Um, and just those two things again, a change, getting me out of the house back into school, having an acting thing to go to every Saturday, meeting new people, meeting new friends. At the acting thing, I met two people, Joe and uh, Joe and Julia,
Hmm.
who then introduced me to their friends, and even now, they are the best friends I could ever ask for. They are.
Hmm.
I don't think I could ever find people better than them. But just
Wow.
you know, getting a change, getting people to talk to,
Yeah.
because they're the people I can talk to, and going from a school that was not very happy, no one knew me, I was quiet, to going to a new school where, dare I say so, I was quite popular. Um, this thing, where I met all these new people that I could really be myself. Um, and again, having those people to talk to, it just kept getting better from there, really.
Wow. It sounds like, yeah, your parents really saw also what you needed and seeing like, should I change
Mm.
schools? And your dad's like, I think that's a great idea, and getting you
He,
out on a vacation and away from all of that, those things that were maybe triggering, you know?
100%, just that little change and having people that I could actually talk to. There's no doubt in my mind that that was the biggest thing, the most important thing that could ever have happened to me.
Yeah. Wow. You have some incredible parents that saw you in
I,
the way that you needed to be seen in that time.
as much as sometimes they can be quite annoying, as all parents can be.
Yeah.
Maybe not you. Maybe you're perfect. I don't know.
No.
You've never been my actual mum. As much as I wish you were. Um, but as much as sometimes I can be like, especially with my mum, maybe a bit rude. Definitely there's what they've done for me. Not a lot of people get, and I'm very, very grateful for that. Oh,
That's
my
okay.
dog interrupted me there. But I'm very grateful, and they letting me go to Japan for a year, which not a lot of people get to do, especially at my age,
Yeah.
and that is just such a big thing,
That's a
and I'm so
huge.
grateful for that.
That's amazing. That is amazing. When you think back about yourself, what 3 years ago, do you find it hard to see? Not hard, but maybe just exciting, and maybe just hard to see where you were to where you are now. But just like the huge growth you've had in friendship, in like your health and your mind and your body, um, even in just
One
like
100%. Because even before the eating disorder, I was never as happy as I was now. I never had
mm,
the friends, the life,
mm,
and like the confidence that I do now.
hmm. If there is something like you think at this point in your life to look back at 3 years ago, Harry, there's something if you could see yourself then, well, would there be something you'd want younger you to know? So people that are listening, maybe they have a child or son or daughter that's going through the same thing, or maybe there's somebody your age listening and they're feeling like you, feeling alone, feeling isolated, feeling like unhappy, and so that comes out in different ways. Is there something that you would want younger you to know?
Um, I could always say it gets better, which is obviously a very basic thing to say. Not that I can imagine younger me would not believe me,
Hmm.
um, which is fair enough. But no matter how hard it is, and there was and always will be setbacks, times where it's like, this is not going to get better.
Yeah.
There will always come a time, no matter how long it takes and how hard it is, you know, even if it's years, just not to give up, I guess. That sounds so cringy, I guess.
No.
Um, but like, I would not have believed myself if I like said to my younger self where I was now.
Hmm.
But just trying new things, finding new people, finding new friends, um, trying new things. You know, it can lead to places that you never expected to go, like
Hmm.
Japan,
Yeah.
which was not nothing, something that I wouldn't have dreamed of in a million years of happening.
Wow.
But for better or for worse, that happening to me, no matter how horrible it was through that
Hmm.
year,
Hmm.
has definitely changed my life for the better
Hmm. That's
because of the
amazing.
things it made me realize.
Yeah. Is there something that you you practice or do now in life that you find helps you in moments when you feel like, you just mentioned some days, or sometimes it's hard, or sometimes things aren't,
Mm.
don't, it doesn't go quite the way, or maybe our minds get stuck in the bat, like where we came from. Are there things that you
Yeah.
do in your daily, or that you practice, or that are part of life for you to help you um, steer away from going back where you came from?
Um, there is, and just a walk. I love walks.
Hmm.
Put headphones on and just go for a walk. Like little things, I guess. Like the rain, like going out
Hmm.
for a walk, even though it's like chucking it down, just feeling the rain.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, like last night, I just went outside and I was kind of, I'd just been in like London again, but we had like big dinners and stuff, and I was feeling a bit nervous about food still because it will never truly go away,
Hmm.
no matter how better I get. But I went outside and it was just raining, and I don't know, it was just something, it was just this little thing of like hearing the birds and the rain and
Hmm.
music or not, it just felt, I just like walks, it just felt really calming.
Hmm. Hmm. I love it. Nature is one
I,
of the most beautiful healers, I feel
I don't know if that makes any
like.
sense, but just the
Hmm.
little things,
Yeah.
just sitting and just listening for birds or feeling the grass underneath your feet or something like that,
No,
or
it,
just talking to people,
yeah.
like in a cafe, just when you order something, just talking,
Hmm.
just have a wee chat.
Yeah. That makes so much sense to me. Like I
Does
100,
it? Okay.
yeah, yeah. As you're talking, like feeling the grass under your feet. I think like there's something about nature that can bring us into the present moment and take us
Mm,
out of our heads, and feeling like the tingling, like you think about a child, they're so present. Like a child is
yeah.
never going to like see a ladybug on its hand and just kind of carry on, or hear the birds singing. And I think there's something beautiful um, about when we're children, how we see those little things. And then when we're old and we're like, I don't know if you've observed any older people, but a lot of them are just enamored with birds. That's why they have like these little bird baths outside their windows, or they're, feeding their birds, or they just take in the sunset. And I think that that's the beauty, like how we enter and how we leave sometimes has these really beautiful parallels to seeing the little simplicities in
Mm,
life that oftentimes we can get distracted by the busyness of our worlds. And it sounds like what you're doing is like
yes.
getting back to like those micro moments, those like simple moments where it brings you back into your body. It's like, like the grass under my feet is amazing. And these birds singing is spectacular. And the way that the rain falls and hits my shoulders is like it takes you out of your head and it puts you right in the present. And I think that that's
Mm.
the thing, that nature's always singing, nature's always moving. It's just up to us to listen. And it can be one of the most beautiful healers, I think. It's amazing. I totally get what you're saying.
That you've hit it on, yeah, you've hit the nail on the head there. Or as well as nature, or just like crawling into bed and just like getting nice and cozy, feeling the nice comfy mattress or the nice comfy pillow and just getting really cozy and just having that moment when it's snowing outside and it's really cold. And you
Mm-hmm.
just have this moment to relax.
Yeah.
Something like
Yeah.
that. I like
No,
those things. Or
that's a
music.
those are good things for you for you to recognize too, that are like you're out for dinner, you're feeling maybe anxious, or something is triggering or coming up for you. Be like, I just can go for a walk, and like just that,
Go for a
to
walk.
do that. That is amazing. I think that's brilliant that at your age you're able to tap into that and go like, I just need to go and you know be amongst nature, or just be still, and creating space for that. That's such a healthy habit to start at your age, and something you can continue to draw on as you grow and as you do life, and as you now you're going to be in Japan in a different place, and
Oh,
and knowing, like, again, what is the thing that brings me that calm, and being able to tap into that
Yeah.
is brilliant. I love that.
I, I, I don't know how I discovered that. I just know I just want to walk,
Hmm, that's
no
amazing. Next,
matter how cold or dark it is.
yeah, it doesn't matter. Next time I see you, we're definitely going to go on a walk together. I think we could really just be like together. I right now there is so much snow here that the trees, you have these big
Oh,
pine trees, and the leaf, like there's maybe this much snow sitting on the branches, so much, like a foot of snow, and I'm just
oh,
like
on just, oof.
on the branches, yeah, and I can't help but just I just want to go sit in the forest and just look at them. I'm just like there's something so soothing about it. Although it's a little chilly here to do that, but I'm just enamored by the beauty of nature, and that's something I didn't find till way later in my life. Like probably not until I was in my 30s did I
Mm,
actually have a deep appreciation for nature the way that I do, and I just get it. Like I just love to just go and walk and sit and listen to the birds and watch nature dance. Like when I this fall I was in Canada, and it's so beautiful like it is in Scotland around fall season. Everything is just like berry and virgin variant colors of oranges and reds and yellows, and you're just like, how is it so colorful?
mm,
And I just laid there in the park and I just like listened to the leaves like shake because they're kind of getting ready. They're kind of getting crispy, so they were sounding
oh,
more. And could just hear them like dancing. Like, man, nature is fantastic. You know, I just can't get
you
enough of
saying that's making me really like
it.
cozy now, making me just really happy because I I like one of the train stations near me. There's a row of trees next to it, and for some reason, there's so many birds, especially for next to a train station. And there's always this one um wood pigeon. I don't know if you know what a wood pigeon sounds like.
I don't think so.
Oh God, it would be embarrassing if I try and do this once. But it's like a it's kind of like an owl that kind of whoo whoo
Okay.
um and it's always there, and I just love that sound. It's just such a pretty sound. I don't know.
So, so soothing.
It's just always there. It's just one
Yeah.
thing it's never changed,
Hmm.
and I love that noise.
You
I
love
love
it.
those birds.
Hmm. It'll be interesting when you go to Japan to see what new sounds of nature and what new sounds of birds that you'll pick up on there that you haven't experienced in Scotland.
Oh,
That'll
100%.
that'll become your new like soothing kind of
My
sounds.
new wood pigeon.
Yeah, your new wood pigeon.
My new wood pigeon.
Oh my goodness. I just I'm just enamored by the fact that you found your way to bring you back down to the ground. It's like sometimes I feel like we can get so caught up in our heads and anxiety can just take over. And it's things like feeling the grass under your feet that reminds you like, no, like there's ground underneath you, like it's okay. Like take a breath. And
Mm,
um I just think nature I got really, really, really blown away by nature a couple of years ago where I was going from the winter into spring. And I was just noticing how the branches slowly had these buds like slowly kind of spin out of the branches, and like I didn't know because I've never really paid attention because I told you I wasn't really into
yeah.
acknowledging nature like I am now, but that like one bud could have up to 100 leaves roll out of it. I was like, how is this even possible?
What?
Yeah, like I had no
What?
idea. It's just
That's a
fast.
fun fact.
Right? And so I'd be like, just watch them spin, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's more coming. Like, I'm just like so excited about it. I just can't handle like, and then I realized that the buds, they're always there. Like even in the winter when it's frozen, they're just sitting below the surface. They're just waiting, like they're just there waiting to emerge. I'm so sorry, my throat.
That's fine.
And I find it so interesting. Nature has such a beautiful way of showing a death to life. And even when we're
Mm,
feeling really lost or dark, that like below us, like even like the branch, the budding leaf below us is like waiting for like new life, more this thing to emerge, and it just has to grow. It just has to like make its way out, and sometimes it takes a long time. Sometimes it's a year where we're in and out of
mm.
hospitals, But then it comes, and like you said, you've never felt happy like you do now. And it's just,
You,
yeah, I think
you just need to get through that winter.
you need to get through the winter. And then in the spring, it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that 100 leaves could come out of this. I didn't know that I could come out of this like this way. It's just, I don't know. Nature's just so good at telling story and reminding us that like we can get through the dark, which you've
And
done.
even even in the city, just watching the birds overhead fly
Right.
amongst the buildings.
Yeah. It's so fascinating. It's
That
fascinating.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. We just got to get to the winter. And like seasons, like you said earlier, sometimes it's hard and you realize that like, there's a winter and there's a spring and there's a summer and there's a fall. And it's like, it's never going to be summer all the time. It's never going to be a
Mm.
full blossom bloom all the time. And if there was, we wouldn't really notice it because we're always living in that blossom. It's like you have those like life spirals and it moves and it's winter, spring, summer, fall.
You need those moments of sadness to really appreciate the happiness that you do get, even if it's just occasionally, or even just a little small thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and realizing that no, this is difficult, but I know there's like something like there's buds beneath the surface and it's going to emerge and I'm going to come through this. Yeah. But yeah, I just so enamored. Like I feel like you and I could have gone on a million walks together if I would have, we had more time, but it's just interesting how, yeah, nature is such a healer and reminds us of our growth and our death and all the things that come in between.
We should start a nature podcast.
Ooh, we should.
There we go.
I have something I should
Wow.
tell you about before we cap off. I have this thing. It's called Plant Wave. Those of you who are interested in nature, I highly recommend look up Plant Wave. It's like these two little prongs, and you can actually attach them to any plant or tree or anything like that. And it measures the weight. Like I'm going to butcher this horribly, so just look it up. But basically, it plays the sound of the waves within the plant. It's fascinating. I'm yeah. Anyways, and some of them are so soothing, like the aloe vera plant. It is the most calming essence and just the most. You need to look this up. You need to take it to Japan with you. Actually, you should really look it up. Um, it's so you can hear it
I
like really like nature singing. It's the most beautiful thing in the world. I took it to Nicaragua
I
and I was
need
like
to
in
see
the
this.
forest and I was like, oh my goodness, nature is singing to me. It's
I'm, I'm
fascinating.
I have so many questions. I need to find this.
Yeah, look up Plant Wave. You're gonna love it. I used to do
Plant
massage
life.
therapy. Yeah, and I would do the same thing for all of my sessions for my patients. I would just connect to like a plant in the room, and the music was playing off of the plant. It was amazing. Yeah, very calming. So something new for you to take
It,
with you to Japan.
I've learned so many new things about petals and singing plants.
There you go. Something new for you to take with you.
That's something new. How exciting.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
well,
Something to put into your
you've given
suitcase.
me that. And I'll give you if we ever find ourselves back in Scotland, I know a great walk we can go on
Okay, I'll take you up on that.
through the forest, through the farms, and down to the beach. Great wee walk.
What? Yes, I'm in 100%. I'll be back for sure. I'll be
There
back.
we go.
I'll be back. Before we cap off,
Maybe
is there anything that comes to your mind that you're like, oh, I really want to put this out there that you haven't said already?
there probably will be. And I'll probably remember it as soon as I like click stop, and I'll just be like, oh, I should have said that. Um, I don't know. I don't really know, to be honest.
That's okay.
I think
Maybe it'll come to you in a second. That's all right.
maybe it will. I don't know.
While you think of it, it'll come. Maybe something comes to you. In the meantime, what
Yeah.
is currently bringing you joy in your life?
Oh, well, apart from, I guess, excitement of going to Japan,
Yeah.
if I was to say anything, that's really the main thing that's going on in my life right now.
Yeah.
That's giving me happiness. And also this month, I have 2 friends' birthday parties, and that means I get to go see my friends. So
Nice.
that's gonna bring me happiness.
Mm-hmm. I
That's
love it.
something, I think.
Yeah. No, I love it.
And just
It's the little things, right? It's like being with people.
little
It's
thing.
like, yeah. 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 Well, if unless anything pops up that you're like, oh my gosh, I have one more thing to say, um, you just pop
Eat
it
your
out.
food, I don't know.
Eat your food.
There we go. That's my wee word of wisdom. I should be a philosopher. I love food.
Eat your food. Do you find that you have to remind yourself, like, I've heard this one girl say to me, she's like, I thank my body. She's like, I thank my liver. I'm like, girl, you were killing it. Thank you for doing your job. She's like, I talked to my lungs. I'm like, lungs, you were knocking it out of the park. Like, thank you for allowing me to like do this life. Thank you, heart. Do you find yourself ever going
Yeah.
to those spaces where you just get, because you seem like somebody who harnesses a lot of gratitude in life?
I guess so. I could thank my body. It's yeah. I've never done that before, but maybe I should. Maybe I should. Because
Hmm.
yeah, those lungs are keeping me alive, you know?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
I should do that. I should do that. Just, thank your body because it's keeping you alive, it's living.
It's the only home you have.
It is the only it's the only home you have. There we go. You're really coming out with it. Oh, you should be a philosopher. Yeah. I've never done that as of yet, but I should 100% do that. Like, yeah.
Just switch a perspective sometimes, reminding ourselves that like what
Mm,
comes so naturally to us, that like I get to see you today because my eyes let me see you, and I get to hear the birds
mm.
chirping because my ears are tuned into hearing, and I get to smell
And
when the
and if
toast is burnt or when it's baked perfectly.
and everyone is different. Everyone's
Yeah.
body is different. Different
Yeah.
shapes, different sizes, different the ways it's been built.
Yeah.
And you just need to
Yeah.
find the little things.
Yeah. 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 You only got one home. That's our
You've
big
only got
wrap.
one
Eat
home.
your food. You only got one home. Treat it
I
nicely.
know, eat good
Make sure
food.
you talk to it nicely.
Yeah, make sure you talk to it nicely. Even if you don't respect it as now, it is everyone's is different. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like that for a reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're you, just uniquely you. We only want,
Uniquely you.
yeah, one of you.
Be kind. Eat your food.
Be kind, eat food. Go for a
Be
walk.
kind, eat
Go
food.
for a
Thank
walk
you.
in nature.
Goodbye.
Be kind. Talk to people. Be kind to the person that's serving you your coffee or your tea.
100%. Have a wee chat with them.
Have a wee chat. I can remember that. Have a wee chat. We got all these taglines now. Like,
Have
what is this about? Have a wee chat. Go for
a
a
wee
walk.
chat. Eat your food.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so, so much for being here and for hanging out with me and just making space to talk about the hard things.
Thank you. Thank you for listening to me.
Of course. No, I'm really privileged to have you here. And like I said, you're the youngest on Naked. Thank you for joining the Naked little community and for being a part of what
Thank you
we're
for having
doing.
me.
Of course. It's my pleasure.
It has been it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been amazing.
Well, it's been pleasure's all mine, really. Thank you so much for taking the space. Cheers to this beautiful day with our cute cups.
Cheers. Without cheers. Oh, I just saw the swans in your cup. That's lovely. But cheers.
Cheers. Have an amazing rest of your day.
You too.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Ciao. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your podcast goodness. This way you'll never miss out on any future episodes, plus it really helps us. And if you want to share your favorite episode with a friend, that would be absolutely incredible. This goes a long way. If you'd like to join Naked by sharing part of your story, just leave us a message on Instagram or email us at nakedwithjanelle@gmail.com. Also, a big thanks to my son, Mikkel, who is the best cheerleader and maybe one of the biggest believers in Naked, and also produces and edits all our podcasts. I am beyond grateful for him and very aware that I couldn't do this on my own. Thank you so much for tuning in and for being here.